Yes, second video on contingency tables, categorical variables. We looked at this data set in the previous video, and I would like to show you how to make bar charts, pie charts, and Pareto charts. So bar chart's really simple. We go to graph and go to bar plot. Don't you love it when stuff's easy? And go to with data. And right now I'd like to just look at a bar plot with party. So there's not much I want to do. I mean, I could, well, I'll tell you what, I want to keep it simple starting out. So let's compute, and you can see that the bar chart it did actually turns out to be a Pareto chart too, because it started with the highest and goes down. Nice feature of StatCrunch is you can highlight the bar. It shows you that there's a frequency of 550 for Democrat, and I think there was 330 for Republican. We could also do a bar plot for any of the other variables. It may be kind of interesting to do belief. I don't know. And again, it gives me in terms of the highest first. Now the reason it does that because it's given it to me alphabetically. To turn a bar chart into a Pareto chart where you force the highest bar to be first, what you can do is you can come into graph and go to bar plot, and again go with data, and let's just choose gender. But what you can do is you can do order by and do the count in terms of descending. So descending just means it's going to start with the biggest and go in descending order. So this way you force the bar chart to put the highest value first. So we do that. I don't know why it hides it, but here it does female. Again, hovering over, we see we have 450 females and we have 430 males. All right. Pie chart, turns out, is just as easy. Not really sure why it's not working. Now let me get out of here and try it again. So let's go get the file. Load it. Yeah, I don't know why that wasn't minimizing, but I could have gone to zoom, but this is fine. So guys, go to graph to do a pie chart. Again, go to pie chart. We have our data. We don't have summary. Let's take a look at belief. And right now I just want to see the count and percent of total, and you can see it proportions out, draws a much better, cleaner pie chart than when I did sketching it by hand. So you can see here we have the information, 480 pro-choice, 54.55%. We can get the same information just by hovering over the slices of the pie. Now this would be extremely helpful if you were putting this in a report, because you could go up here and do a copy, and then you could paste this into a Word document, where this feature right here, hovering over the pieces of the pie, wouldn't be available to you if you copy and pasted it into a Word document. So guys, something else I think is interesting. If we do a bar plot with data, we could actually look at belief, but we could come in and group it according to party, and I want this to be a frequency, and I really don't care, but I'm going to do count descending. Okay, now this is going to be kind of an interesting, I call it a side-by-side bar chart, because what it does, it allows you to go in and compare pro-choice versus pro-life. So pro-choice, you can see you have a lot more Democrats than you do Republicans. Pro-life, you have significantly more Republicans than you do pro-life. I don't think it gives you the opportunity to do this with a pie chart. Actually, it does. My bad. All right, cool. So you can see that it gives you a pie chart for Democrat, and then this is slide 1 of 2. If you go over, it gives you political party belief across for Republicans. So what you could do is you could go in and copy and paste each one of these, put them side by side in a document, and present a nice look. Now, something I want to do, I want to get out of this, and I want to go into Assignment Manager. Now, what I've done is I've put up an assignment here called a Contingency Table Demo. And the only reason I put this up is I want to show you some of the stuff you're going to encounter in your StatCrunch assignments. Now, this is not for credit, but I encourage you to get on my math lab, log in, pause the video, and follow along. It's much better. I learned years ago, statistics is not a spectator sport. If you're involved in punching buttons and learning, it's going to be much easier to do when under stressful situations like exams. So anyway, what I want to do is I want to come in and hit preview, just so I can preview this assignment for you. And what I did is I chose a couple of assignment questions that kind of mirror things that you're going to be doing in your assignment for credit. So first of all, it says a consumer information website tracks automobile complaints. The report contains consumer vehicle complaint submissions by automaker, brand, and category. So it looks like we have click the icon to view the table of complaints by automaker, and click the icon to view the table of complaints by category. All right, so the first one says, Part A says compute the percentage of complaints for each automaker. So that tells me that I need to look at this data set right here, and if I click this, you'll see that I open up a data set that has already been summarized. So the cool thing about this is, instead of going through these things, you have 496 others, 234 Fs, and so on and so forth. You would need to come in and find each of these percentages for the automakers. You would have to add all these up and do the calculate the percentages as I've demonstrated in an earlier video. But you've got a much cooler option. If you click this, it's going to give you the option of opening this in StatCrunch. So I'm going to do that. And you can see now that I can go to Stat and go to Tables and go to Frequency. And I can take number and do percent of total. So I hit compute. Okay, that's not cool. That is not what I needed. Okay. I remember this now. I ran into this before. So what we have to do is we have to be clever here. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to create a new column called percent. And I'm going to come in to edit. No, I'm not. I'm going to go to data. And I'm going to go to compute. And I want an expression. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build my expression. So I need to take the number, which is the variable name for the count. I need to divide that by the sum of the number, and then I need to multiply by 100. Now, if this is confusing to you, you might need to rewatch a little bit of the previous video. because that was the way that we found the percentage. We took the number 268, we added all these numbers up and got the sum. So we took the number, divided by the 268, multiplied by 100. Now I can hit OK. Column label, actually I should have waited, and do compute. So it's added a new column, and we can see that 8.7% is what we get in the first. So I'm going to go over here and what's it want us to do? It says round to 2 decimal places as needed. So I need 8.72%. This is 13.87%. It's kind of tedious. 16.11%. $563 is 18.33. $590 is 19.21. $234 is 7.62. And $496 is 16.15. Now, what you pray here is that you didn't make a silly typo. We didn't, so nice work. Now, what conclusions can you reach about the complaints for the different automakers? The automaker with the most complaints, well, we can look at the count or the percentage. So it looks like to me it's automaker E. And the automaker with the least complaints looks like to me is F. Now, I think what it's going to do, it's just going to have me repeat that for the table of complaints by category. I'm not going to go through that because the purpose of this demonstration is to get you to understand and appreciate that you can open this up in StatCrunch and perform these operations. Now, this was a problem where I don't think you saved a lot of time by opening it up in StatCrunch. However, there are going to be lots of problems where it will save you a lot of time. So I want to leave the question because, again, it's not for credit, just trying to learn. Now, this is kind of an interesting problem. What we have here is we construct a frequency distribution for the time spent waiting in traffic that has class intervals with the upper class boundaries 19 hours, 29 hours, and so on and so forth. So we want 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and we want to get the frequencies. But when you open this data set, you can see that you have a rather large data set here. So I want to come up here and I want to open in StatCrunch. Next thing, very quickly, I have the variables and the data. All right. So what do I need to do here? I want to close this down. I need to come in and set up bins from 10 to 20, 20 to 30, and so on and so forth for time. So kind of cool that StatCrunch allows you to do that. So I can go to Edit. No, I can go to Data and go to Bin. Select my column. So I want variable 2. I want to start my bin at 10. And I want the bin width. So we're going from 10 to 20, 20 to 30, up 70 to 80. So the bin width is clearly 10. Now the start won't always be equal to the bin width, so don't generalize there. And include left endpoint or include right endpoint. Well, the way the problem sets up is we start at 10, and we go up to 20, but we don't include 20. So we want to start at 10. We want that to be included, but we don't want the right endpoint to be included. So if we have a time of 19.999 hours, then we want it included in this category. However, if we have a time of 20 hours, we want it included in this category. So we tell StatCrunch to do that by clicking one of these, so we want the left. So now when I compute, I can see that I have this first person goes in a time 45, so they're 40 to 50. The next person is 57, so they're 50 to 60. So now what I can do is I can go in and go stat, table, frequency, and look at binvar2. So I can come in and do frequency and percent of total like I did before, and just replicate what I've done sort of previously. So from 10 to 20 I have 1. Now if it were me, I would set up 2 windows to where I have all of this stuff going on in one window and I can show both windows, but I wasn't clever enough to do that. So I have what? 5, 11, 9, 1, 2, 2. Now check answer. Hopefully I didn't make a typo. Now it would tell me to do the same thing for constructing the frequency here, so I'm gonna do that. So I'm going to click the icon to view the data. Again, we want to focus on this column now. Now since it's already included in this data set, I've already got it opened up into StatCrunch. So now I'm going to repeat what I did for cost. So I'm going to go to Data, go to Bin. I'm going to select Variable 3, and I want Fixed Bin Width. Now, where do I start? It wants me to start at 300. The bin width goes from 300 to 500, 500 to 700, so the bin width is clearly 200. And I want to include the left endpoints. Compute. You can see that it has categorized each of these as the bin that it belongs to. So for example, 485 is from 300 to 500 because it's between 300 and 500. Now, go to Stat, go to Table, go to Frequency. I want binvar3, and I want the frequency and percent of total. All right, so 858-6211. Hope I got that right. If not, it'll tell me. Now, construct a percentage distribution for the time spent in traffic. Well, guys, we already did that. That's why I put the percentage earlier. So I can go back and get previous commands right over here. So I have 4 hidden. I want the frequency table for binvar2. Now when I look at the percent of total, I can see that I have 3.23, 16.13, and those are the numbers that I would put right here. All right, guys, that's about all I have for this video. My purpose in this video is to kind of keep it simple, and hopefully I accomplished that. So take care.